Phoenix is rising. Coach T here. Here's a little nugget for today. Look, we as black people, as a culture, we're dealing with some intense generational trauma. And the task of being the generational quote unquote curse breaker is very daunting. It is very heavy, right? It's a yoke, it's a weight upon us. But here's the thing, it's not our, it came from cursed people. And when we understand that we have to separate the two, when I was going through my journey and clearing out generational curses, like ancestors actually were like, you're the one that has to do this. And I said no for years, and 8 years to be exact. And then I said yes, finally. And all hell broke loose. And this is what Jesus was talking about when he was saying, Father, if this cup be passed from me, let it be passed from me. I go get the verse. Um, and other things that he was saying, look, hey, I got to do this. I got to do this. They've chosen me. I got to do this. So he learned how to fight in the spiritual realm because he knew that he was in this world, but it was not his natural home. So when people, this is why as a transformational coach and a narc coach, because the two do go hand in hand, I talk about the spiritual, I talk about the metaphysical, I talk about occult practices. We're going to talk about witchcraft. We're going to talk about curses and spells, because the more you clear out the wreckage of your past and you get a magnifying glass in there to be able to see clearly exactly what is yours and exactly what is not yours, then you need to be able to name, because a cluster B personality, a narcissist, does not want you to talk about exactly what they did to you. They don't want you to speak up. This is why a lot of our throats, chakras are itching. They don't, the first three chakras, the Muladhara, the Swadhisthana, and the Manipura, are the most important because they're trying to block those so you don't feel stable, so that way you're doing drugs to try and compensate for the lack of energy that you can produce yourself, that you could call to yourself, but that is being blocked because you're being overwhelmed with all sorts of stressors and traumas. Look at our world. Look what's going on. I loved the Montgomery Brawl. I cried. I literally cried, because this is where we need to go. It's not about our sexual orientation or our pronouns. It's about unity. We have to be unified in the fact that we are going to break those generational curses and we are going to rise up into our divinity collectively. We are not a monolithic people, so we're going to have different tastes and different flavors of everything, but we're going from on that higher level where that's rightfully deserved. So as a transformational coach, I am navigating you through to your higher self by showing you and giving you the tools to say, hey, this is now you can put a name on it. Right? It's like a tombstone. When you bury somebody, you want them to have a tombstone, or you want something said on their on the tombstone, or just to remember them by, right? But when you lay something to rest and you are discarding things that are not yours, characteristics, qualities, spiritual beliefs, and just regular beliefs, right? You can tell when people are cursing you versus when you are sabotaging yourself. All right. And I know that a lot of transformational coaches, life coaches, do not go as deep as I will take you. And it is scary. But I will tell you this. When Jesus took up the mantle for his bloodline, remember when he said, his mother and father came in, or mother and brothers and sisters, I believe it was, that came, and he was like, hey, I don't know them. right? Because he was a new person. He had gone through a certain amount of training where he was like, I'm not going to be, number one, I'm not going to be stopped by somebody. I'm not going to be distracted. Number two, I no longer know you because you're not on my path. I have things to do, and now you're coming in here and bugging me. And I know we've been conditioned to say that that's disrespectful, right? Because some of the ancestors like, oh, I don't want you to leave me because I'm so afraid and alone. After after some time out of the situation, those of you who are subscribed and get notifications for when I do my podcast discussions will have heard my story. And I thank you for your support, sorry. But you've heard my story, you've heard about the gang stalking, you've heard about the witchcraft, you've heard about the attempts on my life, you've heard about the family members and the fur babies that were literally taken from me and sacrificed to give me pain. And I was thinking about this the other day, about last week, when somebody made a comment about how one race was hard workers and they worked like mules and all this other kind of stuff, and homeless people were lazy. Well, I was forced to be homeless for 3 years. It didn't have to last that long, but I was forced because of the same people who were that this person was applauding and lauding and saying, could do no wrong, had actually done me wrong and were continuing to do me wrong because they wear a mask. And when you understand narcissism, you understand that a narcissist is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. and Mrs. Hyde. They can compartmentalize, which means that they can switch personalities in a heartbeat, depending on what you say, what the target wants. So you're not in love with the woman or man that you first saw. You're in love with the avatar that was created after they gathered the information of what your true soulmate would be. And they had to do it spiritually. Intuition is sitting in the etheric waters and downloading the answers to the questions that you've had about life, yourself. For my situation, when I became homeless, I did not blame anybody. I said, why am I here? Because I'm better than this. Okay, why am I here? And God took me through a process that ended up being, it was actually about a year or two. It, like I said, they made it when they know that you're what the devil meant to harm you is being used for good, then the devil tries to make that good bad. You understand? It's a constant battle, which is so why you guys have to get on your program. Okay, so I said, say this to say, it's a hard road, but you can do it if you're willing to let go of those things that you think that you know or that you think help you to make it through. Because I guarantee you, there is more behind the veil than we've been taught that will help you to rise, that will bring clarity, that will synthesize everything together. Whatever has been fragmented after, when you feel like you're being broken to a million pieces, I guarantee you everything will start to synthesize once you've gotten all the gunk and the fillers and the additives and all that food coloring and crap out of you. Okay, hopefully this makes sense for somebody. Your blessings are in your ashes, Phoenixes.